Alright, mic check 1 2 1 2. Can anybody hear me? I don't want to have a fiasco of last time. Let's change the view count. I'm going to be watching YouTube counter instead of Twitch because I'm not on Twitch right now. So, hello. Oh no, I can't do that. Hello, everyone. It is Evil Outcast back for like the umpteenth time this year. Welcome to a new episode of Stories After Dark, the stream where I narrate some of your favorite creepypastas and your favorite no sleep stories with permission, and some of your fan submitted stories from my mouth to your ears. Thank you all for coming out. I hope you're having a lovely evening. And I know I was supposed to schedule stream at the scheduled time, which was 11:30, but I was watching Queen of the Damned with a very special person of mine, and and didn't realize how long it was going to be. But here we are. So, before we get into tonight's stories, I'm going to explain a few rules. First off, no politics whatsoever, no drama, no hate whatsoever. I will not tolerate that. And if I see anybody causing any drama in the chat, I have my moderators to take care of that, which is Creepy Clown Girl and Subject Illuminate. And and I will not be tolerating anybody's bullshit. And I will not start with any fights with anybody that's gonna act like an ass on live TV or live YouTube, whatever. I still feel like I'm a TV and radio, but whatever. Anyways, with that said, let's go to the chat real quick and see who's here. I saw Subject Illuminated say, I don't want to unpin this tweet. Shit. Okay. He says, "Hey, dude, congrats on 900 now, almost to 1,000. Also, I may be a little woohoo right now, but I'll be here." Well, I'm just glad you're here, my friend. Just sit back and enjoy. Let's see who else is there. We have Infinite Psychosis. What's up? Welcome. And we have Azazel Codex. Hello. Welcome. Torment of Gloom. If anybody knows who he is, then we're buddies. What's up? Welcome to my stream. Creepy Clown Girl, one of my mods. What's up? And we have Henado. I know it's general, but I like to call it Henado because, well, I'm part Mexican. But anyways, what's up? And we have Furberries. What's up? Oh, and we have Cool Cat. What's up? Welcome. And we have the Moist Goblin Amazing. What the fuck? What's up? Welcome to the stream. And to those wondering why Nightbot's not here, I fired him. I'm just glad everybody's here to enjoy the festivities. Yeah. I hate hearing my own voice, doesn't everybody? And we have Lily C Nation, one of my favorite female narrators. What's up? Welcome. We got a good count here. We got nine people in the chat. I'm just hoping this will be a better stream than some other people's some other channel stream that we will not talk about. Because believe me, I talk a lot of whole truth about that particular group. Anyways, like I said, this is a no drama, no politic, no hate channel. So y'all best keep your interims to yourself. So let's sit back, gather around the Storyteller's Shrine. I'm still working on the campfire thingy, but it's okay. And we're gonna get into our first story. Vampire Mystic, what's up? I don't think I've seen you around, but welcome to the stream. And welcome to my channel. I'm just glad I am awake for one of your streams finally. Well, I know. I'm glad too you're here, Cool Cat. Especially since you're living across the pond. What the fuck says EO? How do I get rid of spiders without committing arson in my home? I don't think there is a way. If you can find a way, let me know. Alrighty. So with that said, we're going to get to our first story. I'm going to pull it up real quick. Pull up his DM. Der Teufel. Okay. Der Teufel. Alright. I had a lot of practice with the title of this story because I didn't want to botch it. But I hope he's listening. This is a fan submitted story which is written by Voltas. If some of you don't know him, he's also a horror musician, and he's pretty much up in the ranks of Phlegathon, wherever he may be. I know where he is. And Muji, and I would say Coag, but I don't know. But he is a really very talented musician, and he's also getting into writing. And his first story is called Der Teufel. And I botched it already. Anyways, with that said, let us begin. Alex DeMonin was driving back to his parents' home in Tulsa, Oklahoma, for summer to get away from his college in Chesterton, and the getaway could not be at a better time. Overworked and not doing well at making friends, he sure didn't mind getting away from this damn place, for he hated it so much. He was not the social type by any means, and now he dreaded going near anyone in that school. Oh yeah, he did tell me that there was going to be some spelling mistakes, but we'll just have to make the most of it. He was not the social type by any means, and now he dreaded going near anyone in that school with all their happy faces and parties and friends. Pathetic. But now he was in the peace and quiet as he drove late at night down a very rural forest surrounded road. Some may find this kind of environment creepy, but not Alex, for he loved the so-called darker things in life. As he drove on, oh shit, I forgot. I gotta play his music. Media source. Yeah, I forgot to tell you that this story came with music, so you're gonna have to hold your horses for a little bit. And this music is from his collection. Let's test it out real quick. Loop it for a little bit. Is this not playing? Hang on just a second. Okay, maybe if I get... Spooky Time's gonna have to wait a little bit. God damn it, why does everything have to go awry every time I'm trying something here? Ah, the hell with it. Okay, apparently the music's not playing. I don't know why. But... thank you. I don't know why his music is not playing on here, but Vultures, if you're hearing this, I'm sorry. I tried. So, let's just continue on. Some may find this kind of environment creepy, but not Alex, for he loved the so-called darker things in life. As he drove on, he started to notice that that sunlight in the distance was staring back at him, almost like a train at the end of a tunnel. The closer he got, the more it came clear what it was. A gas station. He told himself, might as well fill up on gas here. Who knows when the next one will be? As he exited his white Ford LTD, he looked into the glass windows and saw the cashier staring at a small TV on the counter as he sat in a creepy kind of stillness. As he walked in and pulled a $20 bill out of his wallet, he noticed the cashier didn't move or stare away from the TV. The cashier was odd looking. He had long brown hair, but a bald spot on his head. He was very fat, well, around 400 pounds, and had missing teeth. He also could smell him, and man was it bad, almost like he had not had a shower in a long time. "Hey," said Alex to the still not moving or staring cashier. "Gonna get a 20 on pump one," said Alex in a much louder voice. The cashier finally looked over to Alex with some seriousness, with some serious eyes, as if he was angry, or a look you would give to an uninvited guest. "Hold your horses, boy," said the cashier. He then just kept staring at Alex for a few more unsettling moments before taking the cash and ringing him up and paying his attention back to his TV. Alex then walked out, telling himself he was just some redneck crazy type and best to get back and fill the fuel. When he finished, he was relieved to get back on the road and get away from this creepy place and its occupant. As he drove a terrible rainstorm, came out of nowhere, as if the sky was falling and the lightning was so bright it revealed the darkness hiding in the dark forest on the sides of the road. He had only been driving for about 5 minutes when something very unnatural happened. He started to hear a banging from behind him. In shock, he stopped the car to listen, since no one else was on the road and had seen any other cars. Was that the lightning? He thought to himself. But to his horror, while no lightning could be going on, he heard the pounding again. Bang! 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 Now he knew it was coming from inside his trunk. But how? Bang! 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 Louder and more aggressive. It got to where he had only a singular option. He got out of the car, and even though Alex loved the dark movies and video games and such, at this point, he was not laughing at this or enjoying it. He slowly put in his car keys into the trunk keyhole, and after a deep breath, popped it open. Nothing. But how? How could that be? It sounded like someone going nuts in there, or at least something. He was very uneasy at this point, so he got back in his car after he shut the trunk. As he put the key into the ignition, he was shocked to see his car had completely died. He tried a few more times, but to no avail. How could this be? How is this possible? How is this possible? He thought. This car is like new, he thought. Seeing no other choice but to walk in the rainstorm back to the gas station seemed like his only choice now, even though the thought made him cringe. He then exited his car and started pacing fast in the rainstorm back to the gas station, and constantly looking back at his car for kept having this feeling something was watching from that distance until he had walked only so far that he was only surrounded by trees and a very isolated road. It took a while as he walked back to the gas station, but once he did, he was greeted with an unnerving sight. There at the pump one was something that made his skin crawl. It was his white Ford. It was his white Ford LTD car. How is this possible? Alex thought. How is this possible? Alex thought, as he remembered clearly leaving it in the rainstorm down the road. He double checked. He double checked the license plate just to be sure, and yes, it was most certainly his. Now more confused and freaked out than ever, he walked into the gas station and once again saw the large 400-pound cashier still glued to the TV. "Hey," said Alex towards the man, who once again did not move to his statement and remained glued to the TV. "Hey!" shouted Alex at the man, now getting furious. The cashier just looked at him. With some serious rage in his eyes, and said, "Boy, what did you say to me?" Alex replied, "Look, I am really confused. I really am confused, okay? And I need to know who drove that Ford LTD to this gas station." The cashier stared at Alex, looking very puzzled. "Did you see who was driving that white car that is at pump 1? Alex now sounded more desperate. The cashier then got up, quiet in an aggressive manner, and said, "Boy, that is your car, and other than that, I don't know what to tell you. And now you bark at me again, you can leave." Alex, still confused, saying, But don't you remember me buying gas here about 20 minutes ago?" The cashier responded, "Boy, I had never seen you before. Now leave my store." Now Alex was very confused, but from the crazy look he was getting, walked out into his car. To his amazement, the car turned on and had a full tank of gas, as if nothing happened. But was more disturbed how the hell it got here in the first place. He slowly drove out and back onto the road to his destination, hoping all that just happened was a strange event who couldn't explain, and maybe it was best to not think about it now. As he drove in the rain, he noticed now for the first time that there was no lightning now, just heavy rain. He was driving for about 15 minutes until he then heard a recent familiar sound. Bang, bang, bang. He stopped the car in panic. He didn't just hear that, did he? Then it happens again, but this time louder. Bang, bang, bang. Out of pure panic and disbelief, he ran out of his car and ran as fast as he could back to the gas station. As he ran, he kept looking back, terrified from the feeling something was following him, or at least watching. As the rain hit his face and the sound of the rain around him was, at that moment, so filled with horror, as he kept running and then walking for a bit, and then to catch his breath. When he finally caught up back to the gas station, he was seeing yet again another familiar sight. There at pump 1 was his white Ford LTD car. "What the hell is going on?" No. What the hell is going on? He screamed out loud in a desperate voice. He could not take this anymore, so he ran into the gas station, and as he predicted, the fat, bald, spot-headed cashier was there, watching his small TV. Alex demanded, "Do you remember me?" The cashier, once again, with a bent-down eyebrow, glared. With a bent-down eyebrow, looked at Alex and said, "What, boy?" Alex once again demanded, "Have you ever seen me in this store?" He said in a toned voice. The cashier just looked at him like he was a madman and simply said, I've never seen you here before. Now buy something or leave." Alex was so shocked by what was going on. He could not think at all as he walked over to the drink aisle. As he was racing through his thoughts, he heard the store doorbell go off to someone else walking in. He didn't think anything of it, as he was trying to find where a high caffeine drink could be to wake him up from whatever this was. As he slowly thought about his decision, he noticed the cashier talking to a man who sounded like he was speaking a European-like language. As Alex was walking up to the counter to buy his drink, that's when he saw the backside of what appeared to be a very old man trying to talk to the cashier, but he was not speaking English. "I don't know what you want, old man. I can't understand you," said the cashier. "Hafia dime por esse de Rubin. It's big like Hitler," said the old man. The frustrated cashier responded, "I don't understand that German crap. Now get out." At this point, the old man turned around to look at Alex. Upon seeing Alex's face, his eyes and his own face filled with a horror-like look, as if he slowly walked away from Alex backwards towards the front door, as he kept looking at Alex in horror. More confused than ever, Alex said, "Why are you looking at me like that, old man?" with an angry voice. The old man only said one thing as he pointed his finger at Alex. And with a very hollow and disturbing tone, the old man shit. The old man's only words were, "Der Teufel." The old man started screaming it as he ran for the door over and over again. "Der Teufel! Der Teufel!" As the man ran into the night, Alex stood completely shocked at what just happened. It made not once a bit of sense. "I don't know who you are, boy, but you best buy and leave," said the cashier. Alex silently bought his energy drink and walked to his car. As he shut the door behind him, he thought back about all that has happened. He was stuck in a limbo. Was this a curse? Or was he lost in a dream? None of this made sense. As he started his car over, a feeling he couldn't explain, and he started to speed and go very fast down the still, heavy rain road. As he drove, he kept asking himself, was he crazy as as he waited for some answers that he knew would never come. He started driving so fast the rain was hitting like bullets on his windshield. Even as he drove through this remote and rural area, he found himself, after driving for about 20 minutes, to be interrupted by something. But this time, the sound was not familiar at all. It was the sound of a police siren. In the side mirror, he could see the flickering of blue and red lights. He had been speeding, but what cop would be all the way out here? But he paid no mind to that as he parked over to the side of the road. As the police officer came to his window, he was short and to the point. Why you pulled a 75 mph mile per hour on a 50 road, son? The police officer. Alex, more shocked in his eyes than ever, after one hell of a night, caught the attention of a police officer. Have you been drinking tonight, sir? Said the police officer. No, sir, said Alex. The conversation was interrupted by a familiar bang coming from inside the truck. The police looked right at Alex and said in a very demanding voice, "Step out of the car and keep your hands where I can see them," said the officer. Alex complied. "What's in the trunk, boy?" said the officer as Alex stepped out with his hands up as the officer drawn his handgun on him. "Nothing," said Alex in a very cheery voice. Bang, bang, bang. The officer yelled at Alex. "You come over here now and open this trunk. And no funny stuff either," said the officer. Sure, said Alex in a calm but unnatural voice. As he opened the trunk, the police officer was shocked to see an old man lying in the trunk with blood all over, with a knife stuck in his chest. The police officer, hesitating from shock, asked the old man, "Sir, are you okay? Can you hear me?" while keeping his handgun on Alex. The old man looked over to Alex and started screaming. "Beautiful!" he said again. "It is beautiful!" The old man said in fear as he pointed his finger with whatever strength he had left at Alex. As the police officer looked back at Alex, he saw something truly unsettling. Alex was staring at the police officer with black eyes and was hissing at him as he smiled with huge pointy teeth that were in no way human. Feeling nothing else to do as Alex walked closer to him, the officer screamed, "Get back!" as he opened fire with his gun. Bang, 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 bang. And then there was silence. The next morning, the police found the scene. It was something they had never seen before. As the sheriff asked his deputy, "Well, what the hell happened here?" Deputy explained in a nervous voice that the old man in the trunk had been dead for hours. Body cold and loss of blood from the knife in his chest. They ran a check on him, and found out he was a German tourist from Wolfsburg, but not knowing why he was in the States. They also found one of their policemen body mauled and ripped apart near the car. His head and legs and arms thrown all over the crime scene, and his head had the eyes gouged out. No one else was found at the crime scene. The only other clue to the scene was a white Ford LTD, and written on the car door in blood from the police officer who was killed was written something very unsettling. Written in the blood was the word "de te feu." Well, holy shit. Oh, some scary shit right there. Going on in a time loop and only to find out that the only monster was him. But yeah, that was De Te Feu by Walters. If you're hearing, I don't know if you're awake right now, dude, but if you're hearing this, I'm sorry I couldn't be able to bring your music up. I don't know what the hell happened. But I tried. I hope I did you justice. Aw, thank you, Lily. Okay, let's see. Subject Illumina says spooky. Let's see what's been going on in chat. Had a family party, then movie night with a special someone. Aww. I'm glad you had a movie night with that special someone. I wonder who that can be, Lily. Cool Cat says very spooky. Well, I did get permission to narrate this live, and I believe he's given me permission. Walters has given me permission to do a video on this one. I think. I'm gonna go back in our DMs. Yeah, he said it was okay. Well, I hope you're all settled in. I think we're going to go ahead and take a quick break so I can get some water. But when we come back, I'm going to read y'all a story that pretty much got interrupted in our last live stream due to technical errors. I wonder, too. You're wondering, I'm wondering. Well, I must say, if you know that I know and I know that you know, well, could be a possibility. But for those who do know, shut up! It's supposed to be a surprise. Oh no, I said too much. Like Michael Stipe from REM. Oh no, I said too much. I said enough. Okay, I'm gonna stop before I get copyright claimed. Anyways, well, I don't know if I can be copyright claimed if I sing it myself, but I heard somebody that did sing like a few seconds of a copyrighted song got copyright struck or whatever. But I'd rather not risk it. But then again, I'm not monetized, so no skin off my bones yet. But yeah, seriously, I'm gonna take a short break to get some water. Well, actually, first go to the bathroom and then get some water. But when we come back, we're going to be reading the story. Yeah, just stay tuned. In the meantime, why don't y'all go ahead, get up, stretch your legs, grab yourself a snack, some drink, whatever. And as a good friend said, stay safe, stay cool, stay hydrated, and we'll be right back. Thank you. And we're back. Yes. I hope that didn't take too long. Damn, that story took a long time. We're almost to the hour mark, but we're not going to stop at one story. We're going to continue. Okay, let's see what's going on in the chat. Okay, good night, creepy clown girl. Thanks for stopping by. I know she. Actually, I don't think she streams on Sundays anymore. I think they moved the show to a different day, but It's understandable. Good night, creepy clown girl. Cool Cat says I need to wake up. But you keep falling asleep. Well, just do what Lily asks. Lily suggests either coffee or caffeine time. Hell, get yourself an energy drink. Back. Just made beans at 10 at night. Well, when you gotta eat, you gotta eat. Ain't no shame in that. You gotta eat. If you gotta eat, you gotta eat. Alright, I found it. Alright. Open Chrome. Google Chrome, you are failing me. Caffeine doesn't work for me. Oh no. That's not good. All I need is do something to keep you awake. What can we do to make Cool Cat stay awake? Because I got a feeling she has to work in the next few hours. PA Nightmare, what's up? Welcome. I hope everybody's having a good time. Damn it, I had the stupid story. Hang on. There we go. Give me a tea. Oh, that's what it was. Hey, what the? Go away. Okay. I do have to work in the next few hours. I start at 10:30 a.m. till 6 p.m. says Cool Cat. Oh my. Well, I hope I'm entertaining you and not putting you to sleep. It Bush's baked beans. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Says Subject Eliminate. Alright. Oh, I'm gonna implement a new rule for my stream. When it comes to me making mods, I have to completely trust you to make sure you keep all the haters out and all the disrespectful people out. And I will not accept begging. I will not accept guilt tripping. I will not accept any type of negativity to get me to make you a mod. But if you're doing that to each and every one of your streams or premieres, that's saying, "Oh, I see how it is. You make everybody else a streamer, but not make everybody else a mod, but not me." Blah, 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 blah. No, that is totally unacceptable. I just recently found this out from another friend of mine that somebody did that to them, and I'm sorry, but that's downright My advice: if you're doing a premiere or you're doing a stream, don't do that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. Anyways, this is supposed to be story time, not rant time. I'll probably do a rant stream some other time, but let us continue. As long as the shifts I worked in the summer, then them shifts were 10 a.m. till 9 p.m. Oh, shit. Well, I hope you were very well protected in... I just hope you were protected, Cool Cat. We all worry about you. Alright. Anyways, as I stated before we went to break, this story was read in my last stream, but it got completely cut off due to technical difficulties, and hopefully this doesn't cut me off again. Knock on wood. So with that said, this story just happens to be a classic in the creepypasta community. The story is called Tall, Thin, and Faceless. Walls. White walls. White, padded walls, day in, day out. White, padded walls. Let me tell you why I see these white padded walls day in and day out. I am, or at least according to several doctors, certifiably insane. Hallucinations, paranoia, schizophrenia, multiple personality disorders, the list goes on and on. I was a normal, working class man, living the American dream. I had a wife and 2 children. My income was high, and my debt was low. I had it all. Then things started to go wrong. They started to go in a direction I couldn't even fathom. My wife and I had always wanted to go to the British Isles, but for the longest time, the money wasn't there. It took 7 years and 2 promotions before we could even begin to think realistically. Anyways, after months of careful planning and preparation, we were on a plane flying over the Atlantic Ocean. Just me and her. No kids, no job, nothing but beautiful scenery and relaxation for 24 straight days. Fast forward to a week. Having taken in many of the big cities, we decided to see some of the smaller places. Out in the countryside, we packed a small bag of essentials and took a cab into a rural side of England. This is where things started to go wrong. Ah, damn it, I lost my... Oh, there we go. This is where things started to go wrong. The whole... Not the whole world is coming to an end wrong, even though it sure felt like it. Just wrong. We came across an old... We came across an old tailor in a moderately decorated cabin. Tailor or trailer? Yeah, whatever. He said he had been making suits for over 65 years. Okay, it is Taylor. My interest was piqued. I decided to splurge a little bit, and buy one. Nothing beats the craftsmanship of a home tailored suit. After paying for it and calling for a cab, a picture on the wall caught my eye. It was old, black and white, mid-50s. It was very tall and very slim. It was a very tall and very slim suited man standing on a grassy plain. His face appeared to be smudged out. It was old. I didn't think much of it. Even so, something about this picture was unnerving. It gave an odd vibe. It felt almost menacing. I inquired I I inquired about the photo, but the old man refused to talk about it. That just added fuel to my mental fire. Days upon days had passed. My wife and I took in every sight, every castle, every grassy knoll we could possibly. Every grassy knoll we possibly could. But alas, eventually we had to go home. Part of us wanted to stay, but we were exhausted, and there was no way we could spend any longer there. Our flight back home was vague, as we were both asleep. Most of the time. The drive back home was hazy. We just wanted to relax. As I pulled into the driveway, something was off. Something didn't feel right. I got the same feeling I had when I saw the picture inside the tailor's home. It was a feeling of dread and curiosity. I didn't want to continue, but my mind forced me to. I stepped out of the car, and when I stood onto the concrete, my legs suddenly gave out. I fell to the ground right onto my right hand and found myself unable to force myself up. I must be more tired than I thought. My wife helped me. My wife helped me up and supported me up to the bedroom. I was going to be asleep for a very long time, or so I thought. That night, I was plagued by nightmares of a suited man on the grassy plain. On the grassy plain. It wasn't really a bad dream, as much as it was his presence haunting me in my subconscious. Just standing there, unnaturally tall, unnaturally thin. Just standing there, without a face, without an identity. No matter how hard I tried, his face never focused. It was as though the picture had come alive in my thoughts, but remained unchanged. This went on until I had been abruptly woken up by the sound of the smashing of the lamp. I raced down 2 flights of stairs leading from the bedroom to the living room, armed only with the brick we used as a doorstop. I slowly crept to where the only lamp in our house used to be. I knelt down to pick up a piece to examine, where I felt a slight blow of wind from behind me, like a person running past me. I shot up faster than a startled cat. I spun around to see what or who it was. My eyes had still not adjusted, so surrounding me was nothing but darkness. My next thought was to listen. Nothing. Not a single thing. Not even the sound of a house setting. Maybe it was my nightmare or fatigue playing its tricks on me. Maybe we had a slight tremor that caused the lamp to inch off of the table. Regardless, I was tired and I sorely wanted to get some nightmare-free sleep. It didn't happen. Throughout the rest of the night, the Slender Man was everywhere within my dreams. He was a bit curious, though. He only ever seemed to cautiously hide behind trees. Only the original photo was he completely exposed. Even subconsciously, I wished I hadn't moved next to the forest, knowing he could be lurking, watching me, analyzing me. He didn't take long. He didn't take long to force my. It didn't take long to force myself awake. 10:46 a.m. I looked to my left. I looked to my right. I looked to my right. My wife was sleeping calmly. Lucky her. I dragged myself out of bed and slowly made my way downstairs. I half expected the TV to be blaring with my kids' eyes glued to the screen, but then I realized that they were at their grandma's house. They were due back that day. I was going to miss that quiet. I was alright. I missed my kids even more. It was alright. I missed my kids even more. I continued downstairs, hoping to get a game of solitaire in on the computer, when something made me feel very weak and hollow. The lamp wasn't broken, but it wasn't brand new. It wasn't brand new either. Someone took the pieces and shoddily glued them back together. And the glue wasn't glue. It was black and rubbery, like tar. I would have tasted it for origin. Ugh. But that's never a good idea. My wife needed to wake up soon. Soon. I was starting to panic. I explained what happened the night before, about the lamp and the nightmares and such. She just rolled her eyes and told me I was on something. Wives. Sometimes I think they do it on purpose. Still feeling uneasy from this morning, I managed to force myself to look out into the forest behind our house. It was very calm. Nothing out of the ordinary. It wasn't completely dark, so it didn't look nearly as ominous as it usually did at night. I was badly lamenting this night. In particular, suddenly I saw a light. Suddenly I saw a light out of the corner of my eye that caused me to nearly jump out of my skin. It was just the kids getting dropped off. I swear I was thinking too much into this. I couldn't keep my nerves steady half the time. Hours passed. We played with the children. We put them to bed. We relaxed on the couch. My wife was asleep on my chest. I was nodding off. I slowly closed my eyes. It wasn't long before the quiet was broken and my wife and I were woken up. A window broke upstairs. In a panic flurry, we ran up the stairs as fast as we could. Our eldest son, scared out of his mind, said it came from his brother's room. Without even thinking, I kicked the door open. I kicked the door in. Only the nightlight in the far corner brought light into the pitch black room. And there... Uh-oh. And there he was, the man from my dreams, the Slender Man, hovering over my son's bed. Having seen him, I acted without even knowing what was going on. Punches were thrown, long black tendrils whipped all around. The last thing I remembered was being held tightly above the ground and thrown against the wall. That's when I blacked out. When I came to, my wife was in tears. I had 3 cracked ribs. My son was gone. The Slender Man had my son, and there was nothing I could do. But I knew he was going to come back. And that was when I would get him. The rest of the day was full of emotion. My wife could hardly stop crying. My other son was in a constant state of shock. I could barely think straight. I did, however, manage to call the police. I told them my son had been abducted by a man in a long black suit. I kept the details of the tendrils to myself and feared they wouldn't believe me. But that was the least of my worries. I needed to figure out when he would return. The police showed up and took each of our statements. They examined my son's room. They did a quick scour of the forest outside. It seemed like not a single piece of evidence was found. They had begun to leave when something hanging from a very high branch caught their eye. It was a piece of material. Black, pinstriped, much like the suit I bought while I was on vacation. I pointed this out to the police, and they inquired to see my suit. I gladly showed them the way. When I opened the closet door, what they found was beyond belief. Wrapped in my now tattered suit was my son, completely drenched in blood. He didn't look conscious. Both myself and the police were shocked and disgusted. That's when I blacked out. When I came to, I was in an unfamiliar place. Gray painted walls, small windows on one of them. One exceptionally bland table. Great. I was in an interrogation room. I sat there, alone for a good part of an hour before actual human life entered the room with me. Now my memory is a bit hazy at this point, so I'll try and sum up the conversation as best as possible. The officer had said, "Your son didn't survive. Deepest sympathies to you and your family. You've not been proven guilty, but evidence leads towards it. A further investigation must be held. You will be brought back home, but you will be under constant supervision," and so on and so forth. I was driven home to the back of the police cruiser. Last time I was there was in high school, when vandalism was the cool thing to do. I was welcomed with open arms from my still sobbing wife and my motionless son. Going back wasn't easy. Thankfully, we didn't have to stay long. The police explained that we were going to stay at a hotel for a few days. We gathered our things when a picture from our fridge caught my eye. It was a picture of my late son, Drew. When I saw it, my heart nearly stopped. In the cutest crayon drawing you can imagine was my son standing next to a tall, faceless man in a black suit. I made sure no one was around to see me stuff the picture in my pocket. The hotel was what you would normally expect. Simple wallpaper, 2 twin beds, 1 TV, 1 flowery design on everything else. It would have to do since we were stuck there. We settled in, placing out our stuff and lying down. I, on the other hand, went to the bathroom, the only place I knew was private. I locked the door and took the picture out of my pocket. I scoured the page for clues, but to no avail. All that was there was the crude drawing and his name scribbled into the bottom center. The thing that unnerved me the most was the fact that the Slender Man had no face, no identity, not a single outstanding feature. It riled me to the core, but I had enough stress from today. I needed sleep, badly. We'll stop there for right now. My throat is parched. DDMC, what's up? The Guilty. Oh, I gotta see what that's about. Oh. Oh. Oh, my mouse just died. Oh, my phone's charging up, so... Well, the story's not completely done, Outrum. Oh, welcome, Outrum, and welcome, Chaos Theory Productions. What's up? How are you all doing? Not to worry. Always carry a charger when you don't have any more ports on your computer. Hey guys, thought I'd stop by. Well, I'm glad you stopped by. I hope you were here for the whole listening. I didn't realize my laptop had a fan inside. Alright. Now that I'm parched, no longer parched, let's continue. That night was rough, but I still managed to. Not a single dream with the Slender Man either. Then a banging came from the door. Being half asleep the whole time, it scared the shit out of me. I turned to my right. 5:14 a.m. Heads were going to roll. I dragged myself out of bed and very slowly opened the door. It was the police officer that drove us here. He had a look of panic on his face. He said my son was missing. Nothing clicked. It took me a minute to wake up and grasp reality again. My son's body was missing, snatched right from the hospital. But this time, I knew where he was. I had to get back to the forest. I had to find the remains of my suit. It was the only way to stop the Slender Man, but I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I had asked the police officer if he could drive me back to my house, as I had forgotten something. He pondered for a moment and obliged. This time, I had been allowed to sit in the passenger seat. The ride there was quiet. I tried to get some sleep. He didn't start any conversation. When we got there, he was careful to make sure no one else saw me. I entered the house through the front door and quickly escaped the back door and headed to the forest. It was still very dark. It was still very dark out, so traversing the heavy wooded area was not easy. Only the light, the only light came that the only light that came through was that of the moon. So I walked, almost blind, hoping to find some scrap of my suit. It seemed to be impossible until, amidst the darkness, I saw a scrap of paper. The white of it stood out like a sore thumb. I leaned down to pick it up, and where I turned it around, what I saw completely horrified me. It was another drawing by my son, with both him and the Slender Man, but this one was different. There were three other people. A boy the same height as him, an older looking girl, and another boy as big as the girl. Then it dawned on me. It was us. My family. My son drew us in with the Slender Man. Then I saw a beam of light. It was the police officer. I ran up to him and showed him the picture. I explained that my family was in great danger. All he told me was that there was nothing he could do. He said we should go back to the car, and we would go back to the hotel. A million thoughts ran through my head. Should I concede? Should I resist? What I did next is peanuts compared to what was about to unfold. But I didn't know, and looking back, I didn't want to. I gave in to the police officer's request and began to head back to the car. While he had his back towards me, I picked up a fair 6 stone. And brought it down upon his head. He staggered for a bit and fell to the ground. I took the car keys off of him and ran towards the car. It was still dark. I needed to get back to the hotel. I screeched to an immediate halt in the hotel parking lot and ran towards the door where we were staying. I swung open the door and to behold the one thing I was trying to prevent. Amidst all the blood that painted the room were 3 bodies, making a circle around the Slender Man. He turned and looked at me. His hollow, non-existent eyes stared deep into me. Emotions I had never felt before, emotions without names, filled my brain and body. It was like he was making me feel everything he ever had. With an outstretched hand, he said only one thing that would be burned into the back of my mind forever. Help me. Sirens came from behind me. I turned around to see the police cruisers pull into the parking lot and watch them get out, using car doors as shields with their guns aimed at me. I raised my hand above my head and slowly looked behind myself to see the Slender Man fade into nothing, leaving only the tattered soup in a heap on the floor. He killed my family. My life would never be the same, and yet something told me I was never going to see him again. I would never be able to exact revenge, even if I figure out how to. Everything up until the white padded walls isn't exactly clear to me, but I've been told that after they saw me at the hotel with my DNA on the suit, I was made the primary culprit. After they arrested me and subjected me to frivolous testing, to which they got nothing more than unintelligible noises. I was submitted to this place. The white padded walls. The same white padded walls I see all day, every day. No one will know what happened to me and my family. The emotions that the emotions that were broadcasted to me caused me to lose my ability of speech. Now all I can do is write and draw. I write out the emotions that the Slender Man felt. I draw the things he has seen. They are what kept me here. I am a victim of another man's emotions. Sometimes I feel like I have become him. Like we were the same being. That day I learned something. We were slender. And that was Tall, Thin, and Faceless. Burp 7. Ah, Lily, you're a laugh riot. You're a goofy goober. Maybe your job's fault. Well, it is your job's fault for your wrist hurting. Freebird! I can't do as good as you. Oh well. Let's take a look at the chat. Let's see who's here, who's not. Who I put to sleep. Oh, that was the end of the story if nobody's noticed. Outrum, how you doing? Cool Cat's still here. Have to be up and work in exactly 1 hour and what? 15 minutes. Well, I'm hoping I'm entertaining you and keeping you awake. Oh, I thank you. Okay, who's playing Mario? I thought I told that boy to go to sleep. Can't go wrong with the Slender Boy. Says subject eliminate. My foot's itchy. Goddamn mosquitoes. Oh, and just a quick reminder, if you're seeing the little little scroll right here in the bottom left corner or right corner, depending on where you are. You'll see some of my social media stuffs on here. See Subscribestar, Patreon, and I think I put in PayPal one time. Anyways, there's my Twitter and my Instagram and all that stuff. So don't forget to follow me there on Instagram, Facebook, even though I don't use Facebook anymore. On Twitter, even though that place is becoming toxic. I also don't forget I'm on Discord. So if well, you know what? Maybe I should put Nightbot on here. And I'm also on Minds. That's also something I haven't been on in a long time. And there's also my subreddit where you can post your stories /r/evil outcast stories. And there's my PayPal. I just put that in. Don't make me preach about Twitter. No, I'm not going to make you preach about Twitter, Lily. Believe me, we all know that Twitter's turning into the new Tumblr. A big old dumpster fire. By the way, is the chat box looking a little bit slim to you? Let's say that's big enough. I'd rather not get into that conversation right now, Chaos. I'd rather just let it roll. Well, since we're in the. But I will say, since we're in the Halloween spirit, I think it's time for a good old Halloween story. What does everybody think? Hey. Hallucination is saying yes. Give it hell. Here we go. Halloween. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, this one's good. Ooh, and some people have narrated this one. Must be famous. Let's see here. Who's this author? This might be interesting. Hey, I don't care about pedigree. I'm not a dog. Okay, apparently this one has no author. Creepypasta Wiki needs to rectify that. Alright, Armor. Good night. Thanks for coming by. Well, this next story, again, no author, so I apologize in advance. This next story is called Always Check Your Candy. Always check your children's candy. Always check your children's Halloween candy. Always. I'm not saying this to fearmonger. To tell you the truth, I realize that most of the candy handed out on the holiday is likely purchased at Walmart the day before and shoved into a plastic pumpkin-shaped bowl. You probably have realized that most sane people don't poison candy or put glass in it or whatever cautionary urban legend you've heard. The other guy who did do that did so to his own son. So those neighbors of yours don't treat them like criminals. They're just trying to innocently give the kiddos some sweets. This warning regards a phenomenon that has no apparent origin. What I mean is, no one is really sure of where it comes from. The candy in question isn't even so. You can't purchase it at any store and look it up online. And looking it up online results in no results. The candy, this aforementioned phenomenon, appears to be that of a cinnamon jawbreaker. Not to be confused with the Atomic Fireball brand, or anything or similar, or any other similar sweet. It may resemble a red tinted gumball or a red lollipop with no stick. The point being, it's rather generic in appearance, which makes it tricky to spot the real deal. The candy is sometimes branded under the H.H. Sweets Company, a corporation that doesn't exist, at least not one registered by any agency since 1999. If you search the internet, you might find some H.H. Sweets businesses, but I assure you, they aren't the real deal, merely a namesake coincidence. If the label carries the HH name, beneath it, a tagline will read something to the effect of hot as hell, sweet as heaven. Not all of the candies sport the branding, but it certainly helps to spot it. This is why I advise, if you find yourself or your kids with an unmarked red candy, the safest bet is to throw the sucker away. The documentation of the phenomenon only dates back to 2007, but there is a possibility that it has gone on for far longer. As of this recording, a known 9 people have ingested the candy, 4 of which being children under the age of 18. Each case has happened on October 31st, with the most cases occurring during 2016, with a total of 3 victims. The only clue as to the candy's appearance and branding is through the eyes of witnesses, and subsequently investigations of any nearby and open candy wrappers. Each of the victims' corpses, aside from the heads, remained untouched. The heads, however, where things get strange. Each of the heads is completely burnt, like a used match. This will make identification of the victims troublesome, except for the fact that fingerprint analysis lent itself fittingly to the nature of these deaths, considering the hands of the deceased were completely intact. None of the victims were related in any way, with the only exception being a father and his 9-year-old daughter, Andy and Mary Kay Winfield of Lexington, Virginia. All of the others shared no relation, other than the aforementioned Candy. An eyewitness reported from Brevard, North Carolina, documented the full story behind the mysterious deaths of the 12-year-old boy, Shane Davis. Shane Davis, who died on Halloween 2009. I was leaving the pharmacy at around 8:30 when it happened. He was walking down the block in a zombie costume. I didn't even notice him at first because it was dark, and the costume was dark. But then there was a flash of orange light, like someone lighting a candle. I turned around and this heat wave hit me in the face. And the smell, oh Lord, it smelled like cooked meat. His head was on fire. There were people screaming, but there was nothing we could do. He screamed only for a moment. Then he hit the pavement. I'll never unsee it. The rumors were it was a hex from a witch or something. I'm not a superstitious man, but when you see something like that, superstition doesn't seem too far off, you know? Similar reports were documented for many of the other victims. Shortly after ingesting the candy, the victims' heads would burst into flames, and soon thereafter, the victim would succumb to the injury and die. Many rumors and theories have since popped up surrounding the deaths and candy. Many include witches and spells, but some have garnered significant following beyond regional folklore. One of the most popular rumor cites the deaths as a result of the 1782 execution of Henry Hyson Casti, H. Casti, a candy maker from Onondaga, Virginia. The site of the first documented death from 2007, Casti, a local candy maker, was placed on trial for the disappearances of 2 young girls from the neighboring town. Despite having no apparent motive for abducting 2 young girls, the candy maker was charged as a reasonable suspect, having access to sweets for alluring the children. Following a local investigation, where one of the girls' bodies was discovered with candy in her pocket, Cassidy was charged with the murders and sentenced to death. Children from the town, who once loved the sweets made by the candy maker, began calling Cassidy the Witch of Onondaga, making him one of the earliest male witches of legend. Being found guilty in a hastily trial, Cassidy was sentenced to death by molten metal, a process considered barbaric, except in the case of an accused witch. Cassidy, who swore his innocence until his death, had a molten metal ball dropped into his throat. While a quick death, it was certainly not painless. The townsfolk remarked that justice was served on that day, and their bodies the bodies was buried in a shallow grave, and the body was buried in a shallow grave. Given that Andy and Mary Kay Winfield were also from Virginia, many speculated that the spirit of Cassidy returned to punish those responsible for his death, using his signature candy as a way to torment the descendants of his accusers. The name, too, H.H. Cassidy, would explain the name of the rappers H.H. Sweets. Another popular theory is usually referred to as the Jack-o'-lantern story. Based on the Irish myth, the story goes that a man known as Stingy Jack tricked the devil on multiple occasions, resulting in his banishment from hell, as well as heaven. As he was a trickster at heart, the man, forced to roam the earth, let coal within the turnip and has been using it ever since to light his eternal path. The story, clearly rooted in the Halloween tradition of carving jack-o'-lanterns, has been used to explain the candy too. Stingy Jack, as he is referred, seeks out souls to join him in his eternal punishment. The candy which burns his head is now which burns the heads of its consumers, turns them into somewhat crude jack-o'-lantern. This would explain the fiery demise of the victims, as well as its connection to the celebration of Halloween. In conjunction with the Stingy Jack narrative, there are some who concluded the candy is a work of the devil himself, tormenting unsuspecting holiday celebrators with death merely for the fun of it. A rather sick trick, yes, but then again, mischief is commonplace in the celebration of Halloween. As for the theory, the HH label would stand for Hell's Hottest, or some other variation of the Hell alteration. Despite these varying backstories of the candy, there is a far more grounded explanation that many have subscribed to. Rather than reading into the H.H. Sweets mythology, some conclude that H.H. Sweets is precisely what it claims to be, a candy company. The motive for committing these crimes is, at large, still a mystery. But this theory cuts out the claims of ghosts and devils, suggesting instead that the select few sickos had the willpower to conjure up sweets with the intent to kill. In the end, no one theory is correct, at least not one that can be confirmed by traditional means. A candy that is, for the lack of a better term, supernatural, only can be explained by the supernatural making it entirely difficult to verify of any of the information regarding it. If you wish to avoid the grisly results of the candy, it is advised to always check your children's Halloween candy. Better yet, avoid trick-or-treating tradition altogether. Or if you're highly concerned, perhaps it would be best to skip Halloween altogether. Well, shit. I wonder who's stupid enough to make exploding candy. Especially that will make your head explode. Alright. Oh, I think that last story kind of wore me out. And I think it's safe to say that no interruptions have been made. I'm glad. Anybody still alive out there? Hello? I probably woke you up, Lily. Thank you. I think I just put everybody to sleep. But yeah, oh, Cool Cat's here. Crap. I got nothing but ice now. Ice, baby. But since we're getting close to the 2-hour mark, I think it would be a good time to stop here. I just hope everybody enjoyed the stories. Everybody's like, 3 stories? Are you mad? Oh, sorry, not my bag for work. Well, I hope you have a good day over there at work. And please be careful, Cool Cat. All you across the pond have a safe day. I really mean that. But yeah, I think this will be a good time to stop, as if it's getting late over here, and I'm getting tired. And I'm getting tangled up in wires. Alright. My phone's charged up to the point where I can... Not my phone, my mouse is charged up, so let's go ahead and do the usual ending. I'd like to thank everybody who came out tonight. You all have been very awesome. I do want to, kind of want to do this thing where I want to stream on YouTube bi-weekly, if possible. I don't know if that's good with everybody, but I'm trying to make out a schedule between streaming on YouTube and streaming on Twitch, because I'm still doing gameplay on Twitch, and I'm trying to get everybody to watch me on Twitch, especially if I'm doing some shitty gameplay, but who's to say it's not that good. But that's going to be my schedule is going to be. But anyways, thank you all for coming out, and don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and enjoy. And don't forget to check out my social media stuffs in the description box below. Oh, and remember, if you have any scary stories for me to narrate for a video or on live stream, you can email them to me at the.evil.outcast84@gmail.com, or just simply submit them to my subreddit, Evil Outcast Stories. Also, if you want to help this stream grow and try to make some better quality, you can always submit to my PayPal, or you can join my Patreon. And I'd like to thank my Patreons, Creepy Clown Girl and Breaker19, aka Lycan Chucker. Your cash helps try to improve this streams and videos, And like I said, if you want to become a Patreon yourself, please feel free. It is just $1 to start, and remember, it's not an obligation, but is. Let me try that again. It is appreciated, but it's not an obligation. So, and don't forget to buy my merch at Teespring. I got the new Fleshwad online coming out soon. And with that, thank you all for coming out. I really hope you enjoyed it. Good night, good morning, good evening, wherever you may be. And I'll see you next time. And remember, I'll be seeing you all in the shadows.